This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlaytimeCares.com. What's up, Playtime family? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlaytimeCares.com. Finally went through my marathon WWE watching session. I've been thrown off track because I went to the NFL draft this year in Chicago. It was a great time. Thank God for DVRs. I was able to watch everything today, get on track. Even was able to throw in family time. If you look at my last video, I even grabbed my daughter and threw her in the mix for a good couple of seconds, then threw it back out so I could finish the video. But this Raw was coming from Cincinnati, Ohio. Had Booker T, Michael Cole, JBL, May 11th, original air date. Um, Limo shows up, and who steps out is Triple H. So Triple H come down to the ring. He pretty much said that Kane and Seth Rollins haven't been behaving the way that he wanted them to behave. They haven't been listening to the instructions he was giving them. So he pretty much called Kane and Seth Rollins out to the ring. So that inspired a whole bunch of "We Want Ambrose" chants from the crowd. Ambrose is from Cincinnati. And Seth said that he wanted to be on the same page as Triple H, but Kane pretty much been hampering his ability to do that and make a decision that's not best for business and keeping the belt around his waist. So that inspired "You So Loud" chants from the crowd. And then that started more Ambrose chants, Ambrose, 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 Ambrose. So Seth said that Kane pretty much wasn't fit to be the director's of operations. So that got Kane music to hit. Kane go to the ring and was like, man, I just really want to choke slam you to hell. And Triple H got in between, was like, look, no, you can't do that. I understand. He's irritating. Seth Rollins irritating. You really do want to punch him in the face, but that's not what's best for business. Look, you have been doing a lot of choices that haven't been best for business. Do you really want to be part of the team? I know you wanted to resign a couple of weeks ago, yada, yada, yada. Look, if he end up losing this belt at the pay-per-view, at Payback pay-per-view, we might have to part ways. Do you really want to be part of the team? This is all Triple H shooting at Kane. And he said, you know what? To prove you want to be part of the team, you got a match with Roman Reigns tonight. Seth Rollins was like, yeah, yeah. And then Triple H was like, oh, I ain't done. The main event is you versus Randy Orton tonight. So that guy, Jamie Noble, would be like, what? Man, what you doing, man? This is Seth Rollins. He the champ. What you doing, man? I don't care if you on it, you got whatever title you got. So they said, wait, we still got one more person that's left out that was part of the Fatal 4-Way. That's Dean Ambrose. J&J Security, you'll be wrestling them. You'll be wrestling them right now. So, boom. J&J Security versus Dean Ambrose. Oh man, as soon as Dean Ambrose came out, man, the crowd went crazy. It's a hometown favorite, so you always gonna get that love like that. Another example of why the cruiserweight division is needed. Yeah, I mean, it's too much of a size difference, and but Joey Mercury, man, he still got a lot left in the tank, man. He was pretty vicious for the entire match. I like to watch him wrestle. It was a decent match, and it was a lot of energy. It was really high energy, and it had a great pace with it. But of course, you're not about to beat the hometown kid. So, Ambrose ended up getting that win. That match was about 8 out of 10. It was a good way. It was a good first match to actually start off Raw. And then you had Ziggler versus King Barrett with Sheamus doing commentary. Ziggler, he came out just smoking. Barrett, he he didn't even get his cape off. He barely got the crown off his head, the scepter in his hand, and Ziggler was on top of him. Ziggler was about to win the match, but Sheamus came in there and interfered. So, off of that distraction, he was, KB, King Barrett, he was able to hit that bull hammer on him. Boom. So, Barrett ended up winning. And then Sheamus attacked Ziggler after the match. They got that ongoing feud. And let's see, that match was about 7 out of 10. It was a pretty decent match. And let's see what we had. You had Eric Rowan with Luke Harper by his side versus Fandango. If you remember, he Eric just came out of nowhere when Luke Harper beat up Fandango and just attacked Fandango. So, that match, another example why you need the cruiserweight division. Too much of a size difference. I mean, there's hell. Eric literally beat the dude in 37 seconds. He beat Fandango pretty quickly. So that match was about a 7 out of 10. Bruh, WWE Universe, WWE writers, get a cruiserweight division. This is just, it's not even fair no more. Cena came in and he did his open challenge and Neville took it. Then man, need that cruiserweight division. Cena is a lot bigger than Neville, but man, let's go Cena. Cena suck chance was reigning through. Neville was getting mad love. Neville made the match completely worth watching. I know this is 2 times in a row. I sat there and said positive stuff about a Cena match, but it was actually that good. The NXT boys, they man, if that's what the crop of NXT is like, man, WWE is gonna be in good hands in the future. Them boys have made they put out some work. Um, it was a great match. And Neville almost won the match. He's about to hit the red arrow on Cena, and it was a long match. They both was blasting each other the entire match. But Rusev came in the ring and attacked Neville. Then he attacked Cena, and Neville won by DQ, and it was a great match, about an 8 out of 10. Um, but Rusev came and made Cena pass out, and the crowd was worried about where Lana was at. All you heard was "We want Lana," and all you heard was those chants. So then it was time for Kane versus Roman Reigns, and Kane didn't even let him get out the crowd good. He was came over the barricade. Kane attacked him. They just both started blasting each other. Long story short, Roman Reigns speared Kane over the top of a table. It's really a no contest because the match never started. So that was about a 7 out of 10. Then you had Brie Bella going to the ring with Nikki Bella, and she was facing Tamina Snuka, and she was accompanied by Naomi, and it was a decent match. Tamina pretty much, once she got tired of her, she just hit her with that super kick, and that was a wrap. About a 7 out of 10. Now, one thing that made Raw worth watching was the new manifestation of Damien Sandow. They had an interview with Renee and Curtis Axel, and then Curtis Axel been doing Axelmania and been doing his kind of his homage, mockery, whatever you want to call it, to Hulk Hogan for some weeks now, and man, Damon Sandow came and interrupted the interview and did Macho Man. So the match actually was Macho Man Dow versus Axelmania. So it was a decent match. It is just funny just seeing them, do the things, and the match was going by pretty well. Then the Ascension interrupted, and pretty much was like, "Say, man, y'all doing two old relics, man. Nobody don't want to see that. We the greatest tag team of the future, yada yada yada. The normal Ascension stuff." So that match actually was about a 7 out of 10, a no contest. The Ascension rushed the ring, and you had Macho Man Dial actually just catch on fire and do the stuff like the Macho Man would, and then he allowed Axelmania to actually drop the leg drop on one of the Ascensions. So that was a pretty funny match, pretty good. So then they went to the Tough Enough submissions, and they actually do have a couple of people on there. I mean, they go watch it on toughenough.com or watch it on the YouTube channel. They actually do have some pretty good submissions. Uh, Next thing was Daniel Bryan. He hit the ring, and he pretty much said, "Look, man, I had an MRI. These doctors don't know what's up. I might be out weeks. I might be out months. I might be out indefinitely. They have some saying I'm never gonna wrestle again. So I'm vacating the Intercontinental title. So you had a whole bunch of Daniel Bryan chants, and then thank you Daniel chants, and all that type of stuff. And they showed the man a lot of love. Hopefully Daniel Bryan to be able to wrestle again. He's actually a good talent, so it'd be cool to actually have him back. And then you had the New Day come out and say, "Hey, stop being negative with Daniel Bryan vacating the title. We here at Payback. We're gonna have a 2 out of 3 falls match with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. So you should be happy about that." And then you had the match Big E versus Cesaro, which had a decent pace to it. A lot of power moves in it. I mean, it was cool. It was a cool match overall. Cesaro did a really nice pin move on Big E to get the win. Um, he kind of stuck his arm behind him and threw his leg above him and rolled him into a shoulder pin. So it was a pretty good match overall. Maybe about 7.5. Man, it was a strong 7 out of 10. Um, they announced that they had a second pay per view for May 31st. So if you have the WWE network, you get two pay per views this month, and then the network is free this month. So they uh they announced that they have the elimination chamber for the month of May, and that's May 31st. Then you had the primetime players getting the mix, and they did kind of homage to the New Age Outlaws and kind of took all of their sticks and just threw in primetime player information into what they what they did. If you don't know the New Age Outlaws are, go ahead and just YouTube them. Oh, you didn't know? Um, then you had Bray Wyatt hit the ring and says essentially that Ryback was in his way of whatever it is he was trying to do. He's the new face of fear, the normal stuff. And then Ryback came in the ring and beat him up and threw him out the ring. Then you had the main event, which is Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Pretty decent match, plenty of actions in it. Long story short, it's a strong 7 out of 10 for the wrestling part. Randy Orton was about to hit the RKO on Seth Rollins. J&J Security interfered, and so Randy Orton won by DQ. And everybody pretty much jumped Orton. Kane came down to the ring and he grabs a steel chair, but he stops at the kind of like right in front of the announcer's table and just watching the ring. Well, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns come run to the ring, boom, and they beat up everybody, kick him out the ring, except of course Seth Rollins. They left him in there, and everybody looking to see what Kane gonna do. Kane just standing there with the chair, with the steel chair. So it's like, okay, well, he not gonna do nothing. Well, Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on on Seth Rollins, and then they look at Kane. Kane still didn't do nothing. Well, they picked him up. Roman Reigns spear him. Bah! They look at Kane. Kane still standing there with the steel chair. He ain't do nothing. So, okay, they picked him up again. Randy Orton hit the RKO. Bah! They look at Kane. Kane still ain't do nothing. He just sitting there just chilling. He was like, I don't know if I want to be down with the team. Considering the history they had, makes sense. So, since they were celebrating because Kane didn't do anything, uh, Reigns ended up spearing Rollins, Kane, RKO to Rollins, Kane. Roman Reigns, he ended up spearing Randy Orton. So, the crowd was excited about that. Then Dean Ambrose ended up hitting the dirty deeds on Roman Reigns. Kane still didn't enter the ring. So, hey, your hometown Cincinnati kid, he just celebrated with his fans. So, Dean Ambrose just celebrated as the show went off. All in all, it was a pretty decent show. I hope they do some stuff. I hope Naomi and Tamina end up going to the New Day. And now that the Intercontinental Championship is vacated, I hope that Big E ends up getting that again. So, hey, follow me. Playtime Cares on everything. You can always donate. I love the interaction. Y'all can comment on everything. I try to answer back to everybody. Let's get that dialogue going. Playtime Cares out. Peace.